Evening, everybody. Welcome once again to NicciNotes. We are discussing post Freerange presents Jimster and Charles Webster event at Reset, which is at 71 Loop Street in the beautiful Mother City. With me, I have Darren Southgate, one half of RS Live.
Hello. Hi again.
Speaking to the mic.
Oh snap! Hello. We're back.
As well as Shamir. No. And Irfan Pierce. No, I do. It's just I was like, do I say the surname or don't I say the surname right now? Because last time it was like...
Just one name like McLovin.
There we go. It was a good thing that I didn't say the surname.
Thank you.
So, first things first, if you were at the event, please share your comments. We want to know from you your thoughts, your views, what you liked. If there was anything you didn't like, what you think would have worked better, what you think you needed less of, etc., etc. Yeah, get involved. Share your comments. Let us know what's happening, people. Do you want to start it off? Should I start it off?
You can start it off.
Okay.
Do your side.
So I'll speak louder. Not that loud. I'm going to have to hand this over to you. So, Shamir, from your side, with regards to the outcome of the event, how do you feel or how do you hope your event was received?
Thank you, Nikki. Well, I mean, just in a nutshell, I think I was a bit taken back by the event. And why I say taken back by the event was because it wasn't about the amount of people that attended or anything like that. It's actually just about the vibe and the feeling of everybody that was here. You know, I think it was I don't know when last actually I had a sensation the way I had related to the event where you just felt comfortable. Everybody just got along with one another. There was just this kind of luminescence or something about the evening or about the people or about the artists or whatever it was. I don't know. But all I can say is, I mean, from my side, I think it was a success. I think it was more than what I expected in terms of the types of people that attended the event. It was not overly diverse, but it was quite diverse to say the least. And it was just amazing to see everybody get along with one another in a space collectively, not pockets of individuals dancing separately or standing separately, but it was just a sense of, consolidation of nothing but house music, purveyors, followers, influencers, lovers, of house music.
Ex-lovers.
Or ex-lovers. And I think for me, from that perspective, I mean, you know what? I can't complain about anything else, really. The only thing I can complain about was not related to the event, but the afternoon we did have a Freerange record store. Okay. And unfortunately, they were forming outside, and they were not allowing patrons to come into the store the afternoon.
Yes, I remember.
So that was a bit unfortunate, but related to the actual event, the evening itself, I think it went very well. But more so, I mean, that's my perspective. It might be biased. I don't know. Yeah. And that's why it's important for us to have this post-event review and discussion, with the two of you and with Mr. Pierce, to actually see, what your views on the ground were. And obviously Mr. Pierce also being an artist, being around for quite a long time in the city. Yeah. Right?
You are quite grey, mate. To be fair.
You're not somebody's dad, you're everybody's dad, the father of house music. So, but you know what I'm saying. So, I mean, it's more so important that we have a post-event review to actually see how and if we can make this thing better. And a key word for me is we. Okay. Because this is not, and I made mention of this in the first NicciNotes session that we had a few weeks back. It's not about a me or a my or I, it's about the we, because something like this can't exist if it wasn't for a we. Yeah. So I mean, it's important that we can collectively review and see how we can collectively make this thing better in all regards. I mean, so what was your view? I mean, I know that you arrived a bit late.
Yeah, I think I first want to hear what
What-
What has to say about the
About
Yeah,
what?
we'll swing back and forward. So
event?
It was trash. It was trash. It was horrible. I hated being. I'm kidding.
Okay,
he hated it so much he was dancing.
It was. It was. It was like. It was really good. I mean, I think it is probably, if not top event for me this year. But the tricky part with saying that is that, like, because it's new in my memory, it always seems like this was the best party ever, type thing. But I mean, this is really at least top three for the year, definitely. Vibe was there. This place really took another direction and had a slightly different atmosphere from what I remember it to be before, prior to that. It doesn't happen very often, so I am grateful from being in spaces where week in, week out, I could experience that same thing at one space. It's a lot rare now, so I appreciate when it does come along. All the DJs were on point. I don't have anything to say about that. I think nobody was really struggling for drinks. Everybody seemed mostly happy. Sound was great. Yeah, it was a really well run event, and the headliners, the internationals, were actually. I just have to say that they were super nice. I mean, I met a lot of DJs, and I mean most of them are usually pretty nice, but these guys felt like one of the guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was never like, for a second it felt like, hey, there's Jamie from Jimster, like he's that guy. It was like he was just hanging out, talking to everybody, very super friendly, and I appreciated that actually a lot. And like I said, everybody just did a stellar job on the, in terms of the music component. The DJs were just nice.
Yeah.
So nice.
And then just to share what one of the attendees commented with regards to how they found the event. Keenan Jacobs, he says, it was a real top quality event. Never have I had that much fun in that space previously era. The music selection was also top quality. What was really cool about the whole event was that the headliners opened for the supporting DJ. Like the whole evening just got better and better and everyone brought it. So I think from Keenan's side, if I'm not like adding words to his mouth, it was top notch. And like I think he just appreciated the fact that everybody brought their A game and he thoroughly enjoyed it, as far as I can see and interpret.
True. And then, yeah.
And then Darren.
And then from my side, like I've been in house music since. That's close enough, Miguel. Okay. I've been coming to house parties. I think house parties was like the first type of music I've ever started like going to, partying and stuff like that. I've met most of my best friends in the house game. Gio sitting over there is one of them. And then I think when I walked through the door, the first thing I did was greeted everybody. Everybody that used to go to all the big house parties, and even the smaller ones, they were all here. It was a good vibe. The
Sorry
music
to
was
break your
brilliant.
word.
Yeah.
Let me just say that I potentially risked my life to be here. And
Let's not get
it
into
was
that,
a
okay?
worthwhile risk. So,
Melodramaticism.
not even being melodramatic.
We're not going to get into that. We're not going to get into that.
No.
No, we're not going to get
I want
into
to
that.
know how you risk your life.
So I was.
Somebody's gonna go to jail if you mention anything.
Yes.
No.
I will go straight to jail.
No, we will not go to jail. Okay, we won't mention names. We will just describe
Must have found your eyes.
things.
Is there somebody here?
Maybe. All I'm going to say is, unknowingly, I potentially risked my life to be here. So we were here early, myself and Miguel. We were early. But like we both had kind of commitments that we needed to like attend to. And and I left and then I came back. And basically on my way back was when I potentially unknowingly risked my life to be here.
Okay.
And from my experience of the event, I can say that it was worth the risk. So
Being here. Okay. Yeah, and then
That's all I'm gonna say.
when I
As
walked
for
in,
Darren,
yeah.
yes, you were very happy.
Yes,
I'm
I
glad
was.
you
No,
were
I
happy.
had a
You just need to
brilliant
tell
time.
us why you are also happy.
I just had a really, really, really awesome time when I got here. Everybody's smiling at me in this room right now.
I just have to ask quickly, both of your reviews, you were totally sober when this was taking place,
Yes,
eh?
100%.
Just need to double
Yes,
check.
100%.
completely sober.
So
I
we
was-
were both sober at least.
Yeah,
And your view?
super
We
sober.
were both so.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Oh, he doesn't drink. Yeah.
So we were 3 sober.
Okay.
I was also sober.
I just want to ensure that this review is accurate.
No, 100%. Look, I remember about a
All I'm
good
saying
amount of.
is
So what was
Darren
Irfan's-
was happy.
If you were sober, what was Irfan's third track that he played?
Oh, that's
Quarter
that.
past
No,
one.
that's getting a bit intense.
No, but
eh?
Darren,
That's, yeah, exactly. Like that's intense because I know I couldn't decide between being upstairs or downstairs between the whole night.
Yeah.
And I mean, but it's also a matter of there's so many people upstairs and there's so many people downstairs, and you could network, you could talk to everybody, you enjoyed yourself. You were either by the bar, like Irfan said. The bar was basically not empty, but you could go in at any time and get a drink.
Yeah.
Even though there was a lot of people standing at the bar.
What I want to ask, I mean, it'd be interesting to hear what your perspective was that there was 2 dance floors.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, when I spoke to some of the people, and obviously like Irfan and some of the guys as well, that respect in the industry related to their opinion and their advice, there was a bit of apprehension related to potentially 2 floors and breaking it up and things like that. So from a patron perspective, what was your feeling related to 2 floors? Because it's not like there's house upstairs and hip hop downstairs.
Yeah.
yeah.
It was house and house.
Yeah.
With deep house and deep house, basically. So,
For me, it's a matter of I like soulful. Number one, if you want to not slow dance, but you want to do it a bit of a slow jammy session type thing, there was some soulful upstairs, and then when it was like funky music, I went downstairs with some funky music. I think that's the 2 sort of what genres in a genre that I would go for, either vocal or like a funky type thing. And I mean, yeah, it wasn't really a bad, like a hard decision to make. It's like whatever you were feeling at the time. If you go for a drink and they're playing soulful here and you're not feeling the one song, I felt all of the songs. You would go downstairs and go see what's happening downstairs and like who's downstairs and whatever the case may be. It was good. And also, yeah, dodging people. But it was good. It was good. It was good.
I knew that was gonna come. So Darren spent most of his time downstairs. I spent most of my time upstairs because downstairs for me was hot. Like I was way too hot, and my hair, like I couldn't handle downstairs heat. So, but another thing that I noticed in terms of being at the event is that there was a lot of the other house event organizers here, as well as a lot of the up and coming house DJs. I think, yes, I saw 2, 3, 3.
Yeah, there was a lot of people here. Yeah.
I don't know a lot of people there.
Okay.
I know some people,
Yeah.
and like that's from what I saw and that I recognized. So, as far as I can tell, most people enjoyed it upstairs.
Yeah.
And I think it's because it was more of a... Because every time, like, I got asked, do you remember this song? Do you know what this song is? And I'm like, how must I... Like, seriously, how must I know? Like, I hear good music, and that is what I link to. But don't ask me the name of the song. And yes, Irfan is going to start scaling. Okay, thank you. Ooh.
So while you're looking at things, is everything fine?
Yes, everything is fine. Everything is fine. Everything is fine.
Okay.
Some hate mail.
It's so fine that you said it 4 times. So
Yeah, I mean, there was a technical challenge, obviously, of because upstairs was records only. These little things here behind you, for those that don't know. I mean, I own about like over 1,500 of these at home. I used to have 2,500. I sold about 1,000 a few years back because I was getting tired of carting them around, and the other 1,000 I wasn't that sentimental about. But I mean, it's nice. You can go kind of go back in time, but by the same token, you can also kind of re-educate people and kind of like, Because I mean, like, doesn't really matter what how old the track is. If it's good, it's good, and that's nice. And it takes a different aesthetic because, like, when you're playing records, you can't bring your entire music collection with you. You kind of have to choose. Okay, I'm gonna take 10 records, and that's what I'm gonna bring with, and that's that, and that's dope. You know what I mean? Whereas, like, for example, sometimes when I play a digital gig, it's like I've got a 64 gig, and that's almost every single track that I own on my laptop that I think is decent, and that's, give perspective, that's about 1,500 tracks.
And how long is that in hours?
That would
Hello.
be around about 92 hours or something like that.
Oh, they don't cater for 92 hours sets, eh?
No. It's been a while since I've done a 6 hours or something like that. But my point is that, like, the nice thing about the record thing is you got to be very definitive. You got to decide what you're gonna do before you get there. Not plan your set, but you got to be like commit. Which is with digital, you don't always have to do that. And it was just nice to get into, like, you know, with digital stuff, you can do all these little tricks and stuff and do all these nerdy DJ things that nobody cares about. With records, you essentially you play the record. You shut up and you just get on with it and play the music. You sit, push play, mix it with the next record and just stand back. Whereas when we're playing digital, you're like, all these toys, all these buttons. I'm sure you've seen us like go mad on these turntables, CDJs and mixes, and we just kind of like go nuts. But like with records, you just literally choose a good record, and that's that. If it's not good, they go away.
And I mean, on the night that you played, the Saturday that you played, it was quite a good set. I couldn't stop myself. No. It was a few weeks ago, obviously. Did you plan ahead, or did you sort of feel the crowd as you went along?
This is kind of weird though, because like I find a lot of the newer DJs have this thing about planning DJ sets it's never made any sense to me. It's like I literally, the only planning goes is like I choose music, like I choose a bunch of stuff and then I've got to commit. Okay, so for example, when I play digital now, I take the vinyl set, like mindset, and I choose 100 tracks, and that's that. If people don't like that music, tough. Hearties. I'm gonna empty out the floor, so be it. And you literally got to figure it out. So I normally break it down to like opening, mid, and close. Okay. So I have 3 folders, and the same thing with the records. I kind of like have an idea. Okay, cool. This is kind of like warm up vibe. This is kind of in between, and depending, preferably in my head, I'm always like I always want to stay here where it's the opening part. I try to delay the orgasmic finish for as long as I possibly can. I don't want people to get that hype too early in a set. I think a lot of people are too much in a rush to get from there to there. And part of the whole thing for me is like when you travel, the actual journey is more important than the destination. You see what I'm saying? It's the same thing with music. So no planning goes into it. I literally wing it every single time. And I mean, after a while, I've been playing for like 20 years now, and like I can be pretty arrogant about saying that like I almost know I'm going to get a result. Not because I'm good, it's just become kind of a little bit obvious. If it makes, you know what I mean? There's certain routines you can follow and kind of, that works type thing. And yeah, so I don't plan it, I just get onto the floor. And then I see how much, I'm always going to be like, can I get away with this? And then like give a little bit of an inch. I'm like, okay, let's try another one. Okay, they're fine with that. Another one. And then next thing you know, it's like 30 minutes later, and then like they're not necessarily waiting for their favorite tracks. And then when you finally do give them something they do acknowledge or they know, or it's part of their history or part of their sort of the best moments in their life type situation, especially when you're playing records, it's even better.
Yeah. You're sort of coaching them towards...
Like it's a conversation. Like I always say it's a conversation. It's like I say hello and then the dancers say back hello. And if they're not saying hello back to me, then I'm doing something wrong. I need to change my approach. I'll be like, wow, how about the weather today? And you got to find that equivalent in terms of the record that you're playing. So it's pretty dope. It's interesting.
So I just want to say, on that, the cool thing about Irfan and Leicester set back to back was that it was totally unplanned. And I think from the local artists that were all on the lineup, they most definitely had the set of the evening. More so that it could even have rivaled some of the international guys that played. Related to how they got the crowd going and how they kept it and things like that. But fundamentally, as you mentioned, unplanned.
Leicester didn't know what I had in my bag.
And exactly. Literally before Irfan was here first, the afternoon. I think I asked him what he packed. He's like, I don't know, whatever. Leicester rocked up later. What did you pack? Whatever. Yeah. The two of them got each other collectively in the box. What did you pack? What did you pack? Okay, let's just see.
No, there was actually
know?
that conversation even happened. I remember Lester was a bit late. I started playing, and he got there, and he's like, he says like, "What are we gonna do?" I'm like, "Don't worry about it, just play." I said, I literally told him like, "Play the record, I'll follow you." That was it. My thing was just like, you play whatever you want to play. I'll adjust what I need to because I've got a lot more records than him, so it's easier for me.
All right. Then just quickly to go through the comments. Evening to Pedro. Evening to everybody else.
What's up, Pedro?
Evening to Jason, Devin, Nathan, Envy Funk. Hi. So yeah, just comments quickly with regards to the event. Jason says he thoroughly enjoyed it. Came there and it felt like home. All the house fam we knew. It made it quite an intimate gathering. Awesome vibe and can't wait for the next one. And then he also says, surprisingly, the two floors didn't create the normal separation that usually comes with separating dance floors. It felt like a seamless transition going from downstairs to upstairs. It was like one vibe. And then Carla Peak would then agree with him and says, two dance floors is always a vibe. Allows for more interaction with the venue. And then just a question from Alvin Saul. What's the next big event or party to look forward to? I think this is for both of you, and I don't necessarily mean like be biased, but like in your personal opinion, based on things that are happening, what would be the next event to look forward to?
Okay, so for those that have been kind of following, Shamir did this one on his own. Like it didn't involve the group. Normally it's me and two other chaps. I won't mention them.
The one that actually asked the question.
Yeah, he actually asked the question. So we normally do this a few events. One of them is Defenders of the Deep. We did one about a year and a half.
Yeah, no, I forgot roughly.
Yeah, it was in a garage. That was pretty cool. And then we do another one called For One Night Only. Now we're back. For One Night Only, we're back.
Wait.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. The information will leak out. We're just kind of like trying to egg out some. Sure, why not?
Yes, we'll be the first league.
In fact, the flyers is going to be up on Monday.
Okay.
It's going to be announced that soon.
It's going to be, we kind of planned like really quickly. So For One Night Only, for those that don't know, is basically we take all the DJs that made deluxe, stick them into one space, and for one night only, let's go back.
For one night only and vinyl only.
You guys going to be adding a few more fans to the venue, though?
There's actually funny enough, there's actually like industrial aircon in this place.
Okay.
But it's problematic because so for 20 years that I've played in every venue in the city, it's impossible to keep a place like this cool.
So, sorry, Darren, when you say the venue, are you talking about the deluxe venue?
Deluxe venue. That's what I asked for the fans.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be there, but
No, that's not the case actually. We're not having it in the traditional venue. We're actually going to go to another space, and we're going to turn the space For One Night Only
into deluxe. We will have deluxe.
If we're lucky, if I get my way and we manage, you're going to see that disco light floor.
So it'll be the deluxe logo outside the new space. Everything deluxe logos inside.
And some of the decor, we're going to try and mimic some of the styling and so forth, hopefully. It's going to be very cool.
Okay,
So For One Night Only. Quite interesting.
and then I've always actually wanted to do this. I actually always wanted to get the deluxe stamp as a tattoo on my right arm. Wow. I don't know, it's just, and I've spoken about this to like 5 other people, and they agreed like they would also do the exact same thing. It's the first club I've ever walked into, and I've been there every weekend since it and then it closed down. It's the only club I've gone back to every weekend without fail. You gonna go through that?
Oh yes,
So hopefully that answers your question, Alvin, Sal.
Well, let's try it out.
Yeah.
Well,
No, other people had asked questions.
well, Alvin Sal's question related to when is the next big event.
Yes.
You will know on Monday.
Yeah, we'll know on Monday.
Well, Alvin knows the answer because he's part of the next big event. But thanks for asking.
Oh, see, he's coaching you. Okay, he's getting the. Okay, cool. Okay.
Okay, and then Kabir says, evening to the family from me here in Mumbai. Looking good, still thinking of Freerange launch. Even India is excited for Jumster's arrival here next week. And then Brandon Phillips says wooden floors. I don't know if that's like a key.
Ben. Okay, so Ben also deluxe guys. Wooden floors in deluxe. You could hear the bass. You could feel the bass in the wooden floors.
The floors would literally flex.
Yeah. Yeah. You could hear the heels. You could
So
hear
the floor
everything.
would literally, like when it gets really busy, the floor would actually do this.
Yeah.
It'd be like a heartbeat. Everybody's kind of moving to one tempo. It's bizarre.
So
You-
I would know that because of the 1 night only event that I was, or the last one I was at.
Yeah.
Like, I felt weird because I was moving but not moving.
Yeah.
And like,
It
so
was
I
the
know
music.
that, but like okay, so this one.
Yeah.
And then, oh, okay. Alvin says thank you, gents and lady.
Cheers, Alvin.
And there's no question mark needed. I actually am a female person.
Confirmed. Okay.
Moving swiftly along.
Yeah. Yeah, that was deluxe, eh? Deluxe was you walk in, you felt the floor, you felt the speakers on the side, you knew everybody that walked in. Yeah.
The Jimster event actually felt very similar.
I was just about to actually touch on
That's
that.
the best way to describe it. If you were at the
Correct.
Jimster event, that's what it was about. Except nice thing about the Deluxe was, imagine that every single weekend. Every single weekend. Like without fail, like for years. We're talking about like, was it 7, 8 years, something like that?
Well, longer, and I mean, like, remember, it wasn't about Facebook, WhatsApp, and things like that. If you wanted to go somewhere and you had no contact with anybody, right, you go to Deluxe and you just knew on a Saturday evening, Deluxe is going to be Deluxe.
And a little interesting, little bit of sidebar music, a sidebar to the whole Deluxe thing. My Deeper Sounds album was recorded inside Deluxe, just by the way. The music that was on that compilation was made inside Deluxe, actually, because my studio was upstairs. So I mixed the CD, Deeper Sounds, downstairs, and a set of CDJ 100s downstairs on the same club sound system that all of us played in. And I don't think anybody knew that, actually.
Okay, now we know.
So yeah, the place is like, it's really super special. But also, what also happened in that studio is I managed to release an album in Los Angeles at the same time as I released. A lot of South Africans don't know this, but when I did Deeper Sounds of 3 months later, I released another album in Los Angeles for a label called Kinky Sweet, which was also produced and made inside Deluxe.
So I'm pretty sure I said this the last time, and I don't know if I said it on the live stream or if I said it after the live stream, but I have that
The
album.
CD.
No, I don't have the CD. I have the album. I've got a folder of house music from like everyone, but that like I never knew. Like there was Leighton CDs. There was I'm pretty sure there's something from you as well. Either which way, but there's Irfan Pierce, like there's a lot of the, I don't want to say older.
It is old. But I mean, like, listen, that thing came out in 2004. I mean, that's a gang of time, 13 years ago.
But there's a lot of the like 10 years plus music that's in this specific folder that I never knew. I never knew how old it was, and I didn't know the significance of it up until the time that I've actually spoken to some of the people that are in this folder. You now being one of them, and I now know that I have that one in there.
It's been along for a long, long time. Yeah.
Again, I didn't want to make it seem old.
You know what? I have no qualms with being my age. I'm grateful and fortunate to have made it to this age. Where I come from, people die all the time. So, yay for me, I made it. Look, Mom.
But also, but
And you're still relevant.
no, but also with that being
Yeah.
said, I mean, like, you know, Irfan and myself, obviously we're close friends, and I think that the cool thing about Irfan being Irfan is that although he's older, it's not about him being older, it's about him having experience. And he's always up to passing that experience on to whomever from a production perspective or whatever. So you'd always hear or speak to Irfan and find out that he's doing this with somebody or trying to get somebody to the next level or doing whatever. And I think that's the important thing,
Let's,
you
let's
know?
just stay low key on that. I try to not publicize that kind of thing.
I know you don't, but this is why I'm making
I'm
mention
not a
of
big
it.
fan of it for various reasons. One, I don't want to make another person's story start out with, hey, DJ X helped you get there. Two, it's if I do something nice, I do it because nobody knows. It's cool. But more importantly, what was also cool about the Jumst event was Jamie Jumst himself actually really inspired me on the evening after having a very casual conversation about this and that. And I was just complaining a bit like I don't find much time to release music anymore or make music. Now, to give you an idea what my music making schedule used to look like, say about 5-6 years ago, was assume a track every 3 days. There's folders upon folders of music that nobody's ever heard on my computer. That has slowed down to, hey, I maybe make a track every 3 months or so. After chatting to Jimster, I have a nice casual conversation. By the way, that dude can move. I mean, I was actually quite shocked to see this like ginger dude like behind the decks, you know what I'm saying? And this guy is just busting it. He's just hoeing. I was like, wow, okay, that's pretty dope. He was explaining to me his schedule. He travels a lot because I asked him like, listen, you got tour dates all over the planet. You here, there, and everywhere. Yet you seem to find. I mean, he's got a very prolific release schedule. If you look at his release schedule in terms of the remixes and stuff he does, he's always putting music out and stuff, you know, and somehow he finds time and explained to me how he does it. And I was like, you know what? Actually, I could do better. I should do better. And I will do better.
Okay.
I've seen a little question here on the feed, and I want to be the one to ask you this question.
Okay.
Oh, God.
But it's not really a question. It's more so related to being sentiment of the past.
Oh,
From
okay.
Lester Bachelor. Irfan, P.S., remember when we never liked each other?
Yeah, I actually never liked Lester Bachelor. But, I mean, I've got to explain something about my persona. 3 things I would say. I'm a difficult individual, very particular. Like, I grew up in a very strict household, so I'm very much about rules and regulations, and there's formality, you know what I mean? When I meet somebody the first time, you need to be endorsed by someone else. For example, I meet Darren, someone else introduced me to Darren. Darren comes up to me, and Darren talks trash to me, and I'm going to be like, I'm compelled to always greet back. Somebody greets me, I have to greet back. I'm not compelled to greet you, though. I don't know you. Where I come from, I get you killed. I grew up in Mitchell's Tafels. Okay, so understand this first and foremostly. So that's something that has never gone away. It's always been that thing about me. So if I don't know somebody, I'm not going to go out my way. I might know you on Facebook, but it doesn't mean we know each other. That's something else altogether. So unless we have a sort of like a mutual friend between that kind of like buffers the whole thing, I can be a bit standoffish. And secondly about me is that like, because I don't drink, I'm always the sober guy in the club. People always come to me and they know. Yeah, now. But like I'm always the sober guy in the club, so I tend to run into a lot of intoxicated people, and you know they kind of like lose any inhibitions they had before, and they end up talking a lot of trash to me, and I mean, it's okay the first 10 times. By the 20th time, you're kind of going like, nah, let me not do that. So I tend to hide when I'm in nightclubs, you know what I mean? And then thirdly, it's like I actually just want to be able to zone out onto music, and people forget that sometimes. They're like, you're the DJ guy. I don't necessarily want to spend the evening talking to people. I sometimes want to, for those who manage to see me, I like dancing. I really do. I come from a hip-hop background, grew up with hip-hop, lots of hip-hop. I like dancing growing up in my neighborhood. I studied graphic design and I'm an artist. I paint, draw, and all that stuff. I like artistic stuff. So for me, it's like I like to be in the club for the same reasons you are.
Nice.
I want to hear some good music and hopefully zone out. If it's really good, I can lose myself there for a few hours and stuff and just break it down. And that's super important to me. At the Jumster event, it was really nice seeing people losing their crap. And I don't know if for those that know me from back in the day, they'll note something has changed about the way I performed behind the DJ box. Before I used to not move.
But
Now
you were
you see me
dancing.
move. Because I realize it's the only time I'm really going to get a chance to do this. Because like a lot of times I don't get the opportunity because I get so caught up in conversations here and there. But I mean, I had a super, super dope time at the event, and I was really I was happy. like genuinely just happy.
Awesome. Then just to go through more of the Manuel Mota. I think we answered the question with regards to the next party and the AC or the aircon. I think that's short for.
Many. The event is not going to be at the old deluxe venue. That's a guarantee. It's going to be interesting. I don't know how people are going to take to it, but let's see.
Okay. And then Shanaz, hi guys. I must say, I so like the chilled vibes, and it was such a cool crowd there. Every place has that one creepy guy, but we were definitely looked after. Thanks for the tickets. You're welcome.
The competition winner.
Yes. And then she also says music was dope too. Nice underground look and effects.
Just say it.
So then Jason says, Nikki, if you only been to the last for one night only, that's relatively depressing. Like Irfan said, every weekend deluxe is deluxe. It's a special place that brought a lot of house heads all together. Thank you. Then let's see. Okay, and then Shana says, okay, I agree with the guy in grey. That's Irfan. That's why we go for the love of spacing out to good music.
I mean, I think that's the most important thing a DJ must never forget is that, like, I always imagine myself on the other side. I don't play. I'm a dancer first before I'm a DJ, and I'm a DJ before I'm a producer, and before all of those things, I'm just a normal person. You see what I'm saying? So when I play, I'm with you on the floor. It's the closest thing I can get. Like, I just literally want to share those few moments of euphoria that was given to me by other DJs in the past and other spaces. But it's also very important. I will say this: music can be amazing, but if you don't have good friends around you, or you don't feel comfortable or safe, you can have the best music, but it doesn't matter. Family matters. So it was nice. It felt like family.
And I also just add on to that as well. Like from deluxe side, when you walked in and you knew absolutely nobody, like the most embarrassing thing ever, the very first time I ever walked into deluxe, I was wearing a shirt and a pullover jersey, formal pants and formal shoes. And then I went to the bathroom and this guy looked at me and was like, is this your first time at deluxe? And I was like, yes. And he's like, don't worry, guy. The house is going to shoot fire up your ass and you're going to come back. The music's going to shoot fire up your ass and you're going to come back every weekend. And it's the truth. I went back every weekend and I met what could possibly be my longest friends I've had in years through deluxe. So most of my best friends I've met through deluxe.
But I think that was the cool aspect about deluxe. It wasn't really just about the music, but it was that, irrespective of how you were dressed, this guy didn't check you out and check, hey, what's wrong with this guy. Yeah. He felt comfortable in approaching you.
Yeah.
And deluxe just had that comfortability vibe about it, where everybody just connected with other people, whether you had pink hair or you were wearing church shoes or whatever. Everybody literally just came there to be themselves.
Yeah, true.
And that was quite cool, But also more so interesting was, related to the Freerange event, it was exactly the same. People just came as themselves. There wasn't a policy at the door related to you must dress like this.
Way, yeah.
Obviously, within clubs and things like that, obviously hoodies and caps, that's a given.
Yeah.
But there was nothing around no tracksuits or no track jackets or this. People came and they could be themselves. Yeah. And the question is, how often do you get to go out, enjoy a beautiful space like Reset, beautiful sound system like this place has, which is probably one of, if not the best sound system around, in the city at least, listening to guys going back, taking you on a journey with amazing vinyl records, 2 dance floors, and you get to be yourself.
Yeah.
And this is why people lost themselves, because they got to be themselves. There was no need for you to wear heels, although you did, I think.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I had on my chucks. That was the favorite part of the night.
But exactly.
Chucks.
But even if you wanted to wear heels, you could. If you wore your chucks, that's great. And that's the cool thing. And people have forgotten their sense of identity in recent years. And I think that is a contributing factor related to why maybe there's a bit of stunting growth in the industry or the city or whatever you want to call it, because people don't really get to just go wherever and be themselves.
Exactly, yeah.
I'm going to say something controversial because it actually needs to be said. DJs, promoters, you guys need to stop your shit. Stop fighting, really. We're all here for the
Yes,
same thing,
please.
actually. Get over it. I mean, build a bridge and realize we're all trying to do the same thing, one with the other. I mean, I don't need to like you on the real. Like, I really don't need to like you, but I'll come support if you have something good going on. I've always tried to support. You'll see me at this, that, and the other. Too much politics on the real, and for one night, jumps to think it was nice not to have any politics, and people were just getting down. There was no sort of like, passive aggressive sidebar, music, venue, they could have done this better. You know what I mean? I understand that well because I will own to it. I've been that guy. I understand it all too well. I can only discuss it because I know what I'm talking about. I was that guy. Get over it. It was dope. We can have more dope parties, and I'll support your events as well, and I'm sure everyone else will too. People just want to have fun.
And
Like, we're grown-ups, you know what I mean? Let's just, like, push music and lots of love and happiness, you know what I mean? Like I said, I don't need to like you, but music is music. I'm there.
And I mean, just to add on to that, I mean, it's a very valid point. I mean, like Lester said, they never liked each other. We also never liked each other.
Yeah,
Like, that's
an
a whole
interesting
other story.
I'm sure he doesn't want people to hear that story.
That's a whole other story. But the point is, I mean, since we've gotten over ourselves, or whatever you want to call it, we've gone in and we've done some amazing things together. And this is just the 2 or the 3 or the 4 of us. So just imagine if more people could do the same. What could be done? What could be achieved? I mean, this city has so much potential. It is ridiculous. There's so much love, so much good artists, so much people selecting good music, so much people these days producing good music. But it's in pockets, And collectively, there's a lot that could be done. And I mean, he's correct in that statement. Just get over yourselves, basically.
I will give you a really good example of how this would work better. For every promoter that has a good, successful party, the easier it would be for us to go out to any venue in this town and say, hey, I would like to do an event. You could change the social dynamics of an entire city. It's happened before. Club More did that. Sutra did that. Deluxe did that. I'll give you like an interesting little little tidbit. Deluxe was so influential. At the time, the standard for most colored clubs on the Cape Flats was they play only R&B and hip-hop with a bit of commercial house music in between. It became, because of the Deluxe popularity and other spaces trying to obviously get some of the clientele to come there, because some people like a little bit of R&B and hip-hop, whereas Deluxe was a 100% just house music from end to end kind of like venue. They started playing deep house, and now you can go to pretty much any venue on the Cape Flats right now, and they are playing underground-ish house music, which you never heard before. And that's changed the social dynamics of the city. Yeah. So, I mean, like, for all the race, political, money, classes, rubbish and stuff, ultimately music can bring people together in a way that is insane. So, like, just keep that in mind. I mean, like, we all go to bed, we all need to eat, we all want to have fun, we all want to find some love, we want to like go home to somebody, maybe have some kids, whatever the story might be. We all got the same story to tell. So leave the other part of it, the negativity, right there by the door, and move forward. And ultimately, when I see something like Shamir's event work, it inspires. It's inspiration. It makes it easier for the next guy. I mean, I remember talking to a very young clientele on the Green Market Square. I tell you exactly when it happened. This was around 2001, 2002. One day I walked into him at the Green Market Square, and yeah, many. Clint was young. Yeah,
well, he said a young Clint also many years ago.
Yeah, we were both very young. I mean, I think I must have been like 23, 24 or something. Just to give you a perspective, I'm 40 now. Okay, so I was on the Green Market Square, and I see Clint sees me, and Clint just came from DJ Syndicate, and he runs to me and he's like, and I'm playing at this time at the most happening house club in Cape Town, Club More, across the road, which happens to be right across from where Era was, right? And I mean, this place was crazy. I mean, anybody who's been there could tell you the story. You can see the pictures. A lot of those people are pretty much my age, if not older right now. Very different space. It was also post-apartheid South Africa, which means it was super integrated, a lot more integrated than it is right now. You see blacks, coloreds, whites, Indians, Chinese, Japanese, you name them, gay, straight, none of that stuff. It didn't matter. People were just there for the music. And it was super dope. Now, Clint wanted to play in that space, but unfortunately, part of the DJ hustle is like, you got to know the right people and so forth, or people know of you, and you socialize in the same spaces. So Clint tells me, hey, what can I do? I really want to play more in this club. And I end up telling Clint, listen, dude, forget that. Do your own event. Clint, a couple of years later, goes on to form, if not a year later or a couple of months later, goes on to form one of the most influential events in the city. Shake Your Pancreas with, I think it was Shay Adolf, right? Yeah, and I think it was Paul van Rienen and maybe another guy, I think. There was another guy, there was 4 guys or something like that. It became one of the biggest colored events, house events, period. And this happened at where ETV is right now, up in Clove Street. Think about that. It was amazing. I mean, these guys had so just give you an idea what the scene was like at the stage. It was like you would average between 600 to 1,000 people, and that was a cool party. If you were having a bad event, you had 500 people at your event.
Wow.
Yeah.
We charged 30 Rand at the door at Deluxe, yeah? Give us some more perspective. I walked out there was 15,000 Rand.
I just wanted to say, and then it's like, gee, was only made 10,000.
Yeah, legit. I mean, think about that. That's how packed these spaces were. It was insane. The Lux would clock something like up to, I think the worst I've ever seen it was about probably 800 and odd people in that space. And kind of, but that was at one time. People would walk in and out all night and just be like, it'd be cray.
One of our events, literally, the Lux was so full. And the thing is, this was, lessons learned, because in this industry, it's about lessons learned. You're always learning lessons. And we did an event, and we didn't anticipate the amount of people that actually came to the event. There were literally people standing on the stairwell. And that was a lesson for us. But at the same time, it was quite interesting because it showed you, just how much access you actually have with the correct people on the lineup or the vibe or whatever it was,
Yeah, I mean, the first Soul Revolution event was quite a funny, that happened was quite a funny coincidence. One of the promoters at the club lost their night, and I was one of the residents, one of the regional residents, since its inception, right? At that stage, it was under its second set of owners, I think, yeah. It was James Sada and whatever. So I had my studio. I was renting my studio upstairs, and James was like, "Hey, listen, Irfan, don't you want to do an event here?" I'm like, "Hey, I'm not really a promoter, you know what I mean?" And he's like, "You listen, dude," and he gives me some of the best advice. He says to me, "Irfan, lots of people are paying you money to play at the events. You should invest in yourself. You should do your own event." I'm like, "Okay, cool." I then chat to Leighton Moody at the stage, and I'm like, "Hey, Leighton, I've got this night at whatever. I don't have money to pay you, but would you like to come on board as my partner?" So we decide to form this event called Soul Revolution. And essentially, it was the two of us all night long. I'm actually realizing now after the fact how revolutionary idea is, actually. Think about it. Just 2 DJs on the lineup, no one else plays. That was us. And we did our first...
People doing that?
Yeah, I think so. But it was necessity. We just didn't have money. I mean, listen, we were living hand to mouth.
Yeah.
Straight up. And we were much younger. And our first event, I remember we got such a massive turnout for that event. It was insane. But then halfway through the event, the power cut out. So then something even more crazy happens. No electricity for about probably an hour, and all people didn't leave. They stayed. Place was packed. The vibe was just that great in the middle of summer. And people were playing bongos and stuff.
Yeah.
And then about after an hour, the lights came back on again. And wow, it was like, wow. This is the kind of things that I don't forget. I mean, this literally happened about 15 years ago.
Went off on a track and people were actually still singing a bit.
Yeah, they were actually.
People actually singing a bit.
Can I also just say something? And then on a Friday, there used to be the Deep. That was Leighton Moody and Vinny Da Vinci. And then once a month. And then the very next day was Funky Buddha. It was Saturday, the 25th or whatever. That was the weekend you would wait for. If you're not going every other weekend, you would wait for that weekend and then go to that weekend. A whole weekend of partying. And you would leave there 8:30 in the morning. The Sunday morning.
So the sun come up.
Waiting. Everybody standing by the bar with Barry and Yannick, just waiting for the drinks. Still 8:30 in the morning going. Fun times.
Now we know what Darren was doing.
Yeah, no.
And then just another question from
Miguel.
Kev for Shamir. Tell us about the thought or inspiration behind the curation. Wow, so many big words. Of the support lineup for Free Range SA launch event. Secondly, there was a great layout of Free Range vinyl and merchandise pre-event and during the event. Are records and merchandise still available? Available. And how are fans going to get their hands on it?
Thanks for the question, Cav. Well, there's two parts to your question. Number one, related to the curation. I mean, it was important to have some of the... Well, the event was essentially planned around vinyl.
Okay.
This event was actually technically not supposed to have taken place at this venue. It was supposed to be at another venue with one dance floor, and just vinyl, everybody all night long. And along the way, things evolved to choosing a better venue, you know. And I mean, a better venue was found in terms of Reset. And because there's a split in terms of people upstairs, people downstairs, it was important to create, you know, two different vibes that actually complement one another. But we couldn't have vinyl upstairs and vinyl downstairs.
Yeah.
So essentially, upstairs was wrapped around the guys that were purveying and pushing vinyl for a very long time. You know, Lester, Irfan, you know, Alvin S, you know, and obviously Craig D'Souza, right at the end. Well, the internationals as well. And, you know, the curation therefore was actually and fundamentally around the vinyl guys first and the digital guys second.
Okay.
The digital guys was quite simple because, I mean, it was guys, you know, like Calum, and he had a phenomenal set closing off the event, to say the least.
True.
And it was his birthday. You know, the guys like Calum, like Dawson, and obviously, you know, Leighton and Kasim as well. And these are guys that have been doing things in the industry and been relevant and recreated themselves continually over the past couple of years to still do what they are doing. So essentially, I mean, that's one aspect related to the curation of the event. Related to the other aspect of the vinyls being available and the merchandise, such as my really awesome Free Range T-shirt.
That is a cool T-shirt.
Yeah. So not many people know this is the original Free Range logo, basically.
Okay.
Right?
Wait.
Yes.
I'm going to kick your ass, actually. It is not.
Well, that everybody knows. No, yes, Mr.
I'm going to show my age now. That's not the original logo, actually.
Well, the one originally that everybody got to know in terms of the cloud.
Actually,
the
this
mainstream logo, basically.
there was actually, I had a chat with Jamie O'Dell about it, actually, and I was mentioning him that I remember when they made the switch over, when Free Range went professional.
Correct.
The record that actually set them off was a track by Switch called Get Your Dub On. You will recognize if you hear it now. Yeah. You don't know what I'm talking about, but if you heard the track, you'll know what I'm talking about. That was the last sort of like random cover type thing, and after that they kind of like...
standardized.
Yeah, they standardized the covers. It ended up looking like this. And then this was after that. And then this was kind of more recent. These ones over here?
The 20-year
20-year
rebrand.
These ones are the new rebrands. And then they did for a while for some of their bigger releases, like the manual turn stuff, they actually had custom artwork and stuff. But if you flip them around, you'll still see the logo on another side. Yeah.
So, I mean, related to Kavir's second part of his question, I mean, there were vinyls available. We still have some vinyls. Please do not contact me for the vinyls. You'd have to wait. We will do a record store. It's not about ordering. It's about these vinyls. Some of them that we actually have, it's things you can't buy any longer. It's items that's been given to me basically as part of the Free Range deal for me, for my involvement in South Africa, where some of these things are the last pressings to exist. So therefore it would only be available at a record store that we would do at some point, basically, alongside other Free Range merchandise, which is also limited.
So, quick question. How would you guys feel about a Thursday night free Joel, first Thursday at Reset?
Dum, dum, dum.
Dun, dun, dun.
Can I just say something? So, I look Gio into the eyes now. And he's smiling right there. Like, yeah, now we're down for this. But he's leaving in 8 days, so it has to happen before that.
Sorry,
Shame.
it's not going to happen that soon. But following on what Irfan's saying.
We're asking. Just
Yeah. Okay.
Fuck.
Oh, yeah. Asking into the crowd as well.
You
You guys
so
can comment.
essentially, it would be important for us to try and give something back as well. And on a Thursday evening, first Thursdays, wouldn't you want to come, have access to a early evening record store, sample some of these records, and then grow into a little bit of a club-like evening? Obviously, not a late 1, 2, 3 o'clock
Yeah.
session.
5, 6
but
o'clock session.
something that's free and that's accessible.
Yeah.
But with that being said, earlier on, Irfan alluded to various people just putting the politics aside and coming together. So I'm going to lay out a challenge.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes. I'm going to lay out a challenge to any promoter, DJ or producer of this thing we call house music. And say, what if we can come together for one evening a month, only one evening a month, and do a free party together for everybody in the city? That's a challenge.
That's a challenge. I want to see the specific people as well that compete with one another. I want to see if those people will step up to this challenge. Do it.
So
Okay, we there.
that is something that I think would actually show what unity is and what could be achieved. Just think about that, guys. It's not much. It's 1 or maybe 2 hours of your time to do a set for mahala, for free, giving back to people that pay at your events, that buy your music, that support you, and you are giving back only once a month. No cover charge, awesome sound, awesome venue, diverse lineup, 2 floors for free once a month.
I think you guys
Irfan,
just started something.
obviously, he's with us on this.
Yeah.
And the rest of the For One Night Only crew is a fundamental part of this as well. Lester Batchelor, Alvin Sal. And you know what? The rest is up to you guys. Show us how you're willing to join us in creating this thing we want to call unity and the love of house music for everybody's benefit.
I just want to say this. I'm kind of heartful of like only have one place, or having been able to go out once in a while. I'm really tired of that. I really used to like being able to like be spoiled for choice and I'm able to go out. So, guys, throw more events and do it right. Leave the politics at home. And I mean, I promise you, people are a lot more open to it. If, for example, everybody's bored, I think. I come from a place where I play 4 or 5 times a week to where I'm playing like once a month because there's just not that much happening.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can't be telling me about just this one event every single time. That's your fix, you know what I mean? That's dope, but there's other stuff you can also do. And on that note, I just want to mention that the Hyena is going to be at True Music. That's what the place is called?
True Music.
Yeah, True Music this Saturday. So if you guys want to check out the Hyena, I think there's no cover charge for that thing.
No, there's a cover. There is a cover, but it's supported by the We Us guys, obviously finding True Music. So I think it's Kasim, Leighton, and Damien supporting Aina on the lineup. So go
Not
support
Damon,
them.
David.
Sorry, David. Go support them. Check it out. And yeah.
And that's how we do. You know what I mean? Like that's what my point is. Like I got no benefit to mention that, but I'll mention it anyways. Because it's dope. It's music. Let's go. Let's do this.
Okay, just to wrap up the evening, thank you once again for everybody that has been here, that's tuned in. With regards to any other comments, let's see, just Joshua Kuhn, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, he says he's down and he agrees. So I'm not quite sure if he's a promoter, DJ, producer. There we go. So he's down. Amy Lee Jafter says, peace, love, music, yo. Jason Lee says, challenge accepted. Then Shanaz questions him on, isn't he a driver? Okay. So, yeah. So then next big event to look forward to would be, stay tuned on Monday for that announcement.
Yeah, and Saturday, let's not forget that. So to keep you busy in the meantime, don't forget Saturday True Music in Long Street, right underneath P House. And then on Monday we'll be dropping all details about For One Night Only and the new location. I'll say it, it's in a new location. It won't be at the old venue. It's going to be a bit of a surprise. And if we play our cards right, we might have disco floors. That's all I'm saying. Disco floors.
Yes.
Bling bling floors that light up.
Okay, then just to follow in terms of social media, only your personal profile, or do you have a page?
Okay, so I am cutting my social media presence down a little bit, but everything that you want, if you want to find me on any of the major platforms, will always be at Irfan PS. It's that simple.
1 minute.
Okay, so I just want to say thanks to Kavir and the Pulse team for always making everything possible. They've been a fundamental partner in terms of pulling everything off, and this couldn't have been done without the amazing support from them. Thanks,
Okay,
guys.
cool. Thanks, guys. And it's goodbye from me.
Goodbye from Darren. T-shirts.
T-shirts.
Shamir, where can we
where
get
can you
t-shirts?
buy the T-shirts? Because I actually like the T-shirts, the free range ones especially.
So the T-shirts are very limited, guys.
And gals.
And girls, inbox me. They are $3.50 each, and there's only 20 in the country.
And that's super cheap actually, because I mean I paid 800 Rand for a plain black t-shirt.
Kanye West, right?
No, Adidas.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, so yeah, there we go. Hope we answered everybody's questions. Thank you once more for tuning in. Remember, Saturday, Hyena, and then Monday, look out for the one night only. Oh, yes, and thank you once more to Reset for the venue. Did we get all of it?
Yes!
Yes, all admin done.
Let's reset the summer.